Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. In just a moment, I'm going to be walking my happy butt over to the futon to check out the new Shudder original, You'll Never Find Me. What is the story of this film? Well, it tells the story of a man who lives in a secluded trailer park, and during a storm one night, a young lady shows up at his doorstep seeking shelter, except things might not be as they seem with her, or maybe even him. So this film is a Shudder original, and guys, I'm really looking forward to watching this movie. Looks like one of those really cool, dark, atmospheric horror thrillers, psychological kind of things that I absolutely love. Now, right now, it is the butt crack of dawn. I decided to get up super early to check this movie out because I'm going this evening to go watch another movie. So Haku, I don't know where he's at. I think he's still asleep. The world is still asleep right now, but not me. Oh no, because it's time for me to walk on over to the futon because it's time to watch You'll Never Find Me. Just getting done checking out the movie, and guys, it was okay. It wasn't terrible, it wasn't amazing, it falls right into the, I'm glad I watched it, but I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to watch this movie again. So let's get this started, shall we? We're going to get started with the negatives and then move into the positives to end the video on the ever so important high note. The first thing, and I never say this is a negative, but this film is a very, very, very slow burn. It doesn't necessarily have the great intrigue and story building and such that you find with other slow burn type horrors like this. I'm going to compare this movie to something like the film Bug, okay? Mostly because it has a very similar type of setting. Two people, not a lot of cast, not a lot of different places. Everything pretty much takes place in this one location between these two people. And in that film, you have this very slow but intriguing build and climb to the big blow up at the end. This movie feels like it just kind of goes along really, really slow. There is a lot of just sitting and conversations and dialogues. Now, while this is happening, yes, there's a lot of tension and atmosphere and things of that sort being built up, but it just feels like it really, really takes a long time to get there. The film itself isn't horribly long. It clocks in at around, I believe, an hour and 40 minutes, but boy, oh boy, you feel it. I think a good hour, maybe hour 10 minutes of this movie is more or less just a lot of talking between these two people and just a lot of dead silences and so on and so forth. It doesn't really keep you as enthralled as a lot of slow burns should. And you do find yourself reaching for the old cell phone to check the social medias, if you know what I mean. The movie also plays it safe in the realism category. Let me put it to you that way. It does seem like a very grounded and down-to-earth horror film, and I'm not complaining about that. That's actually some of my favorite kind of horror films, are the whole humanity. The real monster is the human beings. I love stuff like that. And if you're going to play a movie where it seems like it's very grounded in reality and very real, well then don't go crazy surrealistic weirdness at the end of it for no good reason, because that's exactly what this movie does. There is a very clear and good point where the movie could end and we would have been left with a very dark and dismal ending to the film, but for some reason they tacked on a few more minutes of just kind of weird surrealist imagery that doesn't really need to be there and just really felt tacked on for a movie such as this. And I didn't like it. And that is something that I generally like in a film, especially in horror, when things get weird and surrealist. Like, surrealist horror is one of my favorite ones, but you gotta give us clues throughout the film that things are gonna possibly get weird in a moment. And this movie doesn't really do that. In fact, every time it gets to a point where it could get weird, it grounds you right back into reality. Now, let's get into the positives, shall we? What did I like about this movie? First off, the acting in this film is outstanding. I liked our two main actors. It's pretty much just the two of them for the entire film, and they do a great job on set together. I guess you could call it the lack of chemistry. I don't really know how else to put it. But the two of them together do an excellent job of creating a very good tension. At no time do you really get a good vibe on who might be the good person and who might be the bad person in this situation. A lot of things kind of teeter back and forth between the two of them as the movie progresses, and the actors do an outstanding job during that time period with the film. So the acting in the movie was really good. I also really enjoyed the sound design in this film. The movie is happening during a storm, inside of a trailer, and so throughout the entire movie there is tons of rain sound happening throughout the entire thing, and it does a good job also of helping, keep the tension going. And it also takes the place of much of a soundtrack too, so it's very interesting how the sound design was used in this film. I liked it. There's a lot of things, lots of creaks and sounds like that are amplified to really help build the atmosphere. So excellent job there. So the film itself isn't necessarily outstanding, but this is a Shudder original. It is streaming right now. I do feel like it's not a half bad watch. I do think that somewhere in the first and second act, you are going to find yourself pausing the film, maybe going in the kitchen and doing a round of dishes that you've been putting off, and come back and starting the rest of it up, because it does drag on. But eventually the film starts picking up, and it does tell a pretty good story. It just doesn't stick the landing very well, in my opinion. Well, alright guys, that's all I have for you today. Not a terrible watch, but not something I'm going to say skip it. Thanks again for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up if you like what you see. And if there's one more thing you can do, folks, too, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.